This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
Bev's Video Kingdom really is brought to you by...
What the fuck?
What's up, dude?
One of my renters broke the toilet again. That dude takes giant shits. Now I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Why don't you hire a property management company or something to take care of that stuff?
Because they suck, and they take 10%.
You know, our dude Hank owns and manages Heritage Realty Partners. I think he said he only charges 5%, and he visits each property at least once a month.
That's right. He's always posting beers from the road. You have his number?
Actually, I do. His personal number is 805-451-5734.
Perfect. Now he can deal with my renter's big shits.
Heritage Realty Partners.
For all your property management and investment needs.
Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by Goodfellas Restaurante. Hey there, how are you? Feeling hungry? I bet you are. Well, I have the perfect place for you. Come on out to Goodfellas Restaurante. That's right, we specialize in filleted food. Because there ain't nobody better at filleting flesh than us guys. We got filet mignon, chicken fillets, fish fillets, anything that we can fillet, we do it. Now, you may have heard a rumor about some mystery meat fillet, but I ain't no fucking rat, and I ain't saying fucking nothing, because you can't fucking prove nothing, so you just keep your fucking mouth shut, or I'll fucking shut it, capiche? Alright, where was I? Bring your crew on down today. We'll have a sit down and eat food so fine you feel like a made man. Don't be a schnook, and get your ass down to Goodfellas Restaurante today. And don't forget about us.
I applaud the commitment.
I mean,
that was more F-bombs per second than Tommy. All right.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. It's Scott, Zach, and Brad, your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing.
What is up, BV Kaylan? I love that we play our theme music live because we all just start bopping our heads. It's almost like you're getting pumped up for like a sporting event or something. It's like you get that energy going, you get ready, you get excited.
You're getting pumped up before you go out, put the pads on.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Man.
I mean, most people would just put it back in post. They would add that. Not us.
Nope.
We do it live because sometimes shit happens and it gets funny. All right, hey, this is the Bev's Video Kingdom podcast. My name is Brad. Scotch, how you doing today?
How you doing? I'm doing good.
Shit.
I'm talking fucking Goodfellas.
I forgot. He spent the whole last 2 weeks living in where were you at? In Brooklyn?
Sure.
Yeah, Brooklyn's probably not as rough as it used to be.
I don't think that. Yeah.
If of all the articles about gentrification have told me,
I was in Jersey.
You're in Jersey. Okay, that makes more sense. There you go. But you know what? We're down 2 members today. I think there might be a hit out for Nate.
Oh, I whacked those fuckers.
Oh, you just killed them. Okay.
Yeah, I just fucking killed them. I probably shouldn't say that live on the air.
No, I mean,
but yeah,
I don't think they can prove anything just by some conjecture of us talking about it. We're silly. We're a silly podcast. We say silly shit. Right. So
they had some namby-pamby excuses, and so I whacked them.
Okay. So, well, that's what happens. So that means we are actually brought to you. Not brought to you. we are going to bring to you a couple, one not newbie and one newbie. That's a very articulate way to say it. One not newbie and one newbie. Our not newbie is Matt Marlowe from the Real Drunks podcast. Matty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
it is a pleasure to have you here. And our second guest is the P-Man. The P-Man is a longtime listener and longtime friend of Scotch. He's my brother's band's biggest fan. He's played music with both Scotch and my brother.
Well, an original mosh dog is
an original mosh dog, yes. One of the greatest bands that you've never heard of. There's just a lot of things going on with P-Man. Welcome. We are so glad to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here, Brad. Thanks for having me.
I am stoked. So we're going to talk Goodfellas. if you didn't figure that out yet, we let you know this weekend. We gave you like a little preview. We had the Shine box up there on the socials, just trying to get you pumped up. And if you could figure it out, if you knew the Shine box reference, you knew what we were talking about. Goodfellas is our movie. Martin Scorsese from 1990. A budget of $25 million, and it didn't do necessarily great at the theaters.
That blew my mind when I saw that number.
$47 million.
That's crazy.
Worldwide.
Yeah, that is nuts.
So
I mean, and that's with post Oscars release again, like
right,
and with some buzz and everything, and it only got 47 mil.
What again we don't get to see here is DVD sales. I think every college dorm I ever went to, the guys had this copy of a DVD in their collection. I mean, it went probably wild on post movie release sales. So
I think adjusted for inflation, but it is 100 million or whatever. But still, that just seems like a low number.
Well, you talked about this before, as you guys are, podcast of the year for the Denny's.
Thanks for bringing that up.
We might talk about that in a second.
We weren't going to say anything about that.
I was going to say I had to bring that up because the Denny's, that was our category, mine and Jake's, for the Real Drunks was best movie of the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And Goodfellas actually won that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know about that movie.
All about
I didn't
that.
even know that movie existed until I saw that on the Denny's. I was like, shit, I should probably watch that.
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad we can bring that to you. Bring that to your attention.
Matty, thanks. Matt is a member of the Deluxe Edition Network with us, and he has been Podcast of the Month just a couple months ago. We are Podcast of the Year. I don't like to rub that in his face, but as much shit as he's talking,
he brought it up.
I mean,
he brought it up.
I was Podcaster of the Week like a month ago. So
That's true. That is true. And if our Podcast of the Year belt disappears tonight, I mean, somebody else might get whacked.
Well, I got my eyes on it. Yeah.
Scotch. I mean, he's in whacking moods.
I've
so
already rubbed my
be
balls
careful.
on it.
He was trying to creep up there to get some scotches, and I think maybe we didn't notice.
I'll
I
whack
heard a
those
zip.
too.
So,
your bill.
Deluxe Edition Network also has Podcasts of the Month for August. And Scotch, what are those pods?
They are The Broken System and Quad Pro Quo.
Look at that. Two very different pods. One's a kind of a comedy movie pod. The other one, a very serious true crime. Better get yourself prepared because it's dealing with the broken government system and judicial system, law enforcement.
Yeah.
So when things go bad. So worth checking out all the Deluxe Edition Network podcasts. So that being said, Goodfellas. How many saw this at the theater? I know I was 11 years old when this comes out, so I'm not seeing this at the theater. Any of you guys see this at the theater?
I was 8.
I mean, we've got a couple guys here who were like 29, 30,
30 in their 30s, maybe.
something like that. No, you guys were like, what, 15?
So,
Do you remember
90?
coming across
I was like 16? Yeah.
in high school, were people talking about this movie? Do you remember anything about it at all?
Nope.
I don't think I saw it till college, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it had to be a college film, and definitely on DVD. And it wasn't something that, and I wasn't really a big Oscars watcher, so it wasn't like I was watching all the Oscar films and following the buzz on that. And so I think it was just one of those movies that you just keep hearing about. And it's like, oh, dude, you haven't seen Goodfellas? Oh, shit, blah, blah, blah. And, it definitely came up in a lot of the same conversations as like Scarface and all those movies, which in college and you're a dude, those are your movies. Like Scarface, you got to have seen Scarface and this and that. And this was definitely one of them. Definitely, obviously one of the greatest gangster movies ever.
Can I do narrator voice real quick?
Sure.
Brad never saw Scarface.
Oh,
Wow. I mean, it's been a while since we had one of those. Shit.
I never fail to impress with some of my blind spots, and that is one. I've seen parts. I've seen multiple different scenes from that movie. I've never seen it the whole.
I don't remember the last time I saw it from start to finish, but I know I have. So
I've probably only seen it once from start to finish. Like I've seen it like bits and pieces of it many times, but probably only once all the way through.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
See, so
there he goes again.
how many? You guys aren't running out to watch it every weekend, so fuck. I mean, you can say, "Oh, I've seen it," but it's not like you're throwing it in the DVD every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I didn't see this until like the whole Sopranos, like
Okay.
that whole phase came out because my brother was older brother super into like all the mobster movies when I was younger, and then Sopranos came out. He goes, "Oh, you like the Sopranos? You got to watch this. You got to watch this. You got to watch this." So he's like, Goodfellas, Casino,
Yeah, I could definitely see how Sopranos can get a lot of people going back and watching all those classics like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, most of the cast from Sopranos is also
That's a
in
good
this
point.
movie.
Yeah.
That is true. That's true. P-Man, so you say college, you're thinking?
definitely sometime in college on DVD. one of those nights where you just pop something in, you have nothing going on. And that begs the question when you're saying about Sopranos, Lauren Bracco, hotter in Sopranos or hotter as Karen in Goodfellas?
Ooh, boy.
Ooh, that's a
think
good one
Sopranos, probably.
because Soprano, she's got that like hot like glasses librarian,
Right,
doctor
yeah.
look.
And I think,
but in Goodfellas, she's got like the big hair, like sexy, like
There's
I
no
think-
wrong Lauren Bracco. I'm
No.
just saying the Sopranos version for me is a little bit cut above.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Sopranos as well. I think she's a little bit skinnier, and then I start thinking of like cocaine and stuff like that. I don't know if she wasn't doing it, but at the same time, she was really skinny. I think she's a little bit more filled out in Sopranos. And,
well, yeah, she's a little bit older, and
So I think I dig that.
Can I share something since Brad was so nice to share something? I've never seen The Sopranos.
Oh, no.
Okay.
This side of the table is just not liking this side of the table.
I'm sitting here with Philistines and Cretans. They haven't seen the
I've
Sopranos.
seen tons of clips, and I know how hot she is in it because I've seen a lot of those scenes, but I never watched a single episode.
The mafia movie community, it seems like they're usually pretty hardcore. It's like that you have to have seen Godfather, you got to have seen Goodfellas, you got to have seen Sopranos. My dad and my brother, who I usually watched my movies with when I was young, especially in 1990, it's something they're going to be renting and putting on, and I'm just going to like sneak in and watch it, like someone like RoboCop. They weren't big on the mafia movies, so it's like I never saw Godfather growing up. I never saw Goodfellas. In fact, later on, I think I saw Casino first. I think I watched Casino before I ever watched Goodfellas, which probably clouds me a little bit into like appreciating Casino as what I think is the better movie versus Goodfellas, and we'll have that discussion a little bit later.
Absolutely.
But
P-Man and I were talking about that before we started this thing.
Yeah, so I did not get into Goodfellas until later on. So, I mean, I definitely saw it. I think it was either a little maybe probably post-college. I checked it out, and I really like it. I mean, it and Casino both have this style about them, and the needle drops and all the things that we're going to talk about. It's very interesting movie making, and Scorsese, of course, can hang his belt on those because those are two great movies.
Well, whenever this movie's brought up, it's always brought up as one of the greatest films ever, and definitely one of the greatest gangster films ever. And most of my life, I've kind of always thought, really, is it? When I first saw it, it maybe got hyped up too much. I don't know. I didn't love it. And so I when we picked this, I was like, of course, we got to do it. And I was actually really looking forward to watching it. And I watched it, and this was the most I've ever enjoyed watching it, was this time.
Gotcha.
I will 100% agree with you there because I hadn't seen it in years, and then when I got the bat signal thrown up yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch this, and it's been probably like 10 years since I've seen it. I was like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I wasn't like, look at the clock, like, is this almost over? No, I was like, oh yeah, keep going. I love this. It was great, but I'm also with Brad on this. It's not my favorite mobster movie. I'm not saying Casino. I think Casino and that one are up there together, but I've got to go like the Godfather series. Not 3. 3 is horrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, you really can't argue that Godfather is the greatest.
Yeah.
Even though I've never seen Godfather Part 2.
Oh my God.
So many revelations.
What is happening?
So many revelations.
Somebody gets fucking whacked tonight.
Scotch and I, we are a part of a movie podcast that has put out a lot of episodes. And just so you know, we tell you from the start, we are not cinephiles. We aren't those folks that had all these like checklists and said, I got to get through all these movies because this is what a cinephile does. We are not that. We like the movies we like. We're not as bad as some folks like my brother who only watch movies they've seen before.
Right.
That's hilarious, by the way.
It's one of the best lines ever on this pod. But we are just sometimes, life happens and you miss a movie or you don't get to it. And sitting down to watch it right now when we have the entire social media and internet at our fingertips, it's very difficult sometimes to say.
So, Brad, you've seen every episode of Sledgehammer at least 3 or 4 times.
This is true.
Okay, but you couldn't just pour in Godfather 2 in there just to mix it up.
Sledgehammer.
That it's like Godfather 2 or Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I mean, which one are you going to choose? I know which one I'm choosing.
Right.
Well, but maybe for the 17th Bill and Ted's, you mix in Godfather. I'm just
I don't know.
Bill and Ted 3 or Godfather?
Actually,
or
all of them.
I've seen all of them.
I respect number 3 as much as it was kind of a silly movie. I really respected the fact that it wasn't absolute trash.
How many podcasts go from Godfather to Bill and Ted's 3? Not many.
Only the
Just
good
us,
ones.
baby.
That's true.
Only the good
That
ones.
might just
Well,
be
I would
us.
say just you guys, but we go off the rails quite a bit on Real Drunks. But yeah.
right.
All right, so we've kind of found out our first little takes on this movie. We've done our house cleaning. We talked about Deluxe Edition Network. Let's move on. This guy, has he been here before? Have we invited Marty to... I was trying to think. Have we done a Scorsese movie to this point?
Yeah, we did The Departed.
Oh, we did The Departed. We have had Marty on.
But I can't remember if we invited him or... No, we had Cliffy Chamberlain was on with us.
We did have... So we passed up on Marty that time.
Right.
So now we're bringing in Martin Scorsese here to Bosco's Cantina to talk about this movie.
Hey guys, good to be here.
Really? Is that how he talks?
Spot on.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought,
Absolutely.
I thought you sit right next to me.
All right, he's walking in the door. Hold on one second.
Pull up a chair and grab yourself a drink. Hypothesize what directors think. Maybe sometimes get a guess. Makes us look good. Let's drink, laugh, and pretend we know what we're doing. Drinking with the director, brought to you by Last Call Brewing.
All right, folks, this is Drinking with the Director, and I'm gonna say something that I think is true.
I'm thinking the same thing, I think.
I think this might be the first time we've ever done Drinking with the Director, brought to you by Last Call Brewing, without somebody holding a Last Call brew in their hand.
And I was just like mouthing that
Yeah.
to Scott's just now. Nobody's drinking
I
my
was
beer right
like,
now.
holy shit. But if you were at the Catalina Wine Mixer, you do know that Last Call is now offering fresh kegs of Karate in the Garage, as well as cans, as well as their new brew that, oh my God, that was a hit. Their West Coast IPA, the Catalina Wine Mixer.
I got to get some of that.
It is a 4-pack that you can purchase at the Last Call Tap Room. It is a delicious West Coast IPA. People were fired up about it. The can is awesome. You got the little helicopter with the island and stuff. It is tremendous. Go pick those up. I cannot rave enough about them. And Cry in the Garage, if you haven't ever had that, that is one of the best double hazies you'll ever drink. So you've got some drinking to do. If you are in the local area, go to Last Call Brewing, pick up those brews. So we decided, though, we actually, they do a lot of Scotch drinking in Goodfellas. And while we're not drinking the Cuddy Sark, we do have...
We don't have the good stuff. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We
That's
don't
too
have
top
the
shelf
Cuddy
for us.
Sark. We're all drinking a little bit. I'm drinking, I actually don't know the name, but it is
Amrut.
Amrut, which is an Indian Scotch from India. It is one of those very peaty, smoky Scotches that is kind of the style I love. So I'm sipping on that.
That is
and
the Amrut Fusion.
there you go.
Yep.
If you want to pick it up, if you like smoky campfire style Scotches, which region? They're kind of the Islay or Islay, or how do you say it?
Isla.
Indian.
Isla. There you go. Okay, I've never been to Scotland.
The Indian region.
It's definitely mimicking those style of Scotches.
Right,
So there you
for
go.
sure.
P-Man, what you got?
Well, Brad, oddly enough, I'm drinking the same exact thing you are. I'm loving it, though. Cheers.
There we go.
And I'm just going to say, Scotch Beck has the best collection of Scotch, probably in southern Stanislaus County, if not
The
all
world.
of, if not the world.
It's one or the other.
When you come to my house, you're going to drink well, and you're going to drink fine whiskeys. I don't carry shit on my shelves, and I haven't counted in a while, which is something I like to do, but I have at least 100 just single malt scotches.
You won't find a finer Scotch collection on the canals of Houston's Canal
Right.
and anywhere else in Houston.
Canal Scotch is the best Scotch. And so I was going to say, like, this is the first time I think probably in the history of the show that all four of us have been drinking whiskey, especially Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
And because usually somebody's drinking Grenadine and Coke or something.
That's true.
And
this is a full Scotch.
and this is
with
my
not
kind of
a
party.
beer. Usually I have a beer chaser,
Right. Yeah.
and I do not have my beer chaser yet. So,
So,
that's kind of how I roll.
So Maddie, what did I think? I think I poured you the Longmorn.
Yes.
Longmorn 16. What?
That is
yeah.
delicious. It is really good. Because I told you pick something for me. You know what I like.
Yep.
And
You did
I
your
wanted to go for the top shelf stuff, but I couldn't reach. So as Scotch so elegantly pointed out to me when I got here, I'm a shorter stature man. But yeah, this, what is it?
Longmorn.
Longmorn. That's good. I like it. It's got a nice little smoky taste to it, and
One of my
taste
favorites.
that peat to it. It's good.
Yeah,
very good.
And I'm drinking the Glenallachie 12, which is a purple bottle, and it's one of my all-time favorites. It's easily my favorite Scottish, Scotch right now, because I drink a lot of Japanese whiskeys, so I have to say Scotland.
Yeah, that whole weird like champagne versus sparkling or whatever.
Right. So anyway, yeah.
All right, so that's interesting. No beers. But
We'll have some later.
We've got
Well,
scotch.
there will be beers.
There will be beers.
There will be beers.
There will be beers. So we've got the famous, the legendary Marty Scorsese in here. And I mean, the guy's IMDb, I don't really need to go over it. He's done stuff since way, way back. He has a new movie coming out this fall, which is,
Killers of the Flower Moon?
Killers of the Flower Moon. I think I said Flowers of the Killer Moon, I think, on a previous pod, which
I've
was
heard it both
incorrect.
That's the porn version.
But interesting. It looks really interesting. It's got some of the folks he's been working with. We got Leo in it, so it's going to be a big deal. This one, though, this was kind of a return for him because he had a few movies that didn't do so well. He did Last Temptation of Christ, which was controversial, and people were wanting to boycott him, getting angry about it and stuff. So this for him, going back to a gangster movie, which he kind of didn't want to do, but he saw this book. He had read it, and he was like, yeah, this has to be my next movie. And he was super excited about it. He gets co-writing credit with a gentleman named Nicholas Pileggi. I'm going to say Pileggi. How do you think?
Pileggi.
Spot on.
And I put my fingers together when I said that up in the air. So that's the correct way to say it. This dude, he wrote the movie, and Scorsese's like, I want to make this into he wrote the book. He wants to make it into a movie. He calls him and he's like, I have to make this into a movie. And the dude was like, I've been hoping somebody was going to call me to make it into a movie. And they worked on the script together. And then here you go. You've got this amazing movie that comes out. So if we've got Mr. Scorsese here with his little glasses sitting at our table, what are we going to ask him? We got any questions for this dude?
I think the first thing I want to know is what really went through his mind when they announced not only that he didn't win Best Picture, but he also lost Best Director to Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Was it one of those things where he's like happy for him, or was he like, what the fuck is happening right now?
The quote I saw is that he says, they don't like me. They're never going to like me. And it was basically
so he took it hard.
He took it pretty tough. According to, I think it was his girlfriend at the time. Yeah. She was like, he was definitely upset. A lot of folks thought Best Picture would go to Dances with Wolves and that he would get Best Director, but instead both of them. And he said, his other quote about it was that he's like, they have me in the front row with my mom, and this is how they do me, basically. Like, because he brought his mom as his guest, who was also in the movie, and and so he felt like kind of very disrespected about that.
Yeah, the Oscars was weird. I mean, because Dances with Wolves like absolutely just swept. Like they just destroyed all the most categories. But what was weird was I couldn't believe Ray Liotta wasn't up for anything. I mean, Joe Pesci won Best Supporting Actor.
Right.
Which he was fine. He was good. But Ray Liotta wasn't up for anything. And Joe Pesci won. Ray Liotta was way more important to this movie than Pesci was by far.
I would agree with that, but I also think that playing Pesci is Oscar worthy because...
Yeah, but he's playing Pesci. He's just... Yeah, he's been that in so many movies, right? He-Man?
That's his.
Should he have won for Home Alone, Pesci? It's basically the same performance. So
I was thinking more.
Except in Goodfellas, he can say fuck, and in Home Alone, he's going
frickin'
I mean, nothing against Pesci. I love Pesci as much as anybody.
Absolutely.
But Ray Liotta was so fucking good in this. And anyway, it was surprising when I was going through, and I thought at least I would see him listed as a nominee, and I didn't see him listed anyway. Now, Lorraine Bracco, she got nominated for Best Supporting Actress, so at least I saw that. That was good.
Right.
She lost to Whoopi.
That would have been Ghost. Yeah.
Ghost, right?
I mean, how can you not give it up for Whoopi?
Right. I love Whoopi.
Absolutely.
Whoopi.
So, I actually don't have any really questions. Actually, I do have one question for him, which is when I saw this would have been wild. That at one point there were some talks that casted as Henry and Karen was going to be Tom Cruise and Madonna.
That'd have been a different take.
How weird would this movie have been
Wow.
with those as the leads? I think Madonna could do it.
Well, I was gonna be the opposite. I mean, well,
I think Tom Cruise doesn't do very well.
No. Wrong energy. Completely wrong energy for it.
Madonna, I think and Dick Tracy, she was pretty decent. Like she it was kind of playing like the damsel type role.
And Madonna had kind of a little Oscar moment in
Evita?
No, in the baseball movie.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, where she's like, "You ain't shutting me down," like this whole breakdown stuff. So she can do the dramatic stuff. She's great.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting. Yeah.
So I think she would have been great. Tom Cruise is so interesting because he's got such a weird reputation, but he also fucking goes for it, and you just never know with him. But
this could have been a different career path for him if he gets in this and he really he's still just all he's been playing this like Days of Thunder. I think it was in 90. He's done Top Gun. He's done Cocktail. He's done Risky Business. He hasn't really had that like dramatic moment.
Right.
And if this was like because I liked him in what's the movie where he's the hitman?
Collateral.
Collateral. He was kind of like weird, evil, and that dark side kind of worked. And if he could have maybe brought that. Well, maybe it happens. I don't know.
He did American Made too, which was that drug running movie. So kind of a bad guy.
But I'm just saying that's way after Tom Cruise becomes Tom Cruise.
But was this before or after Far and Away?
This is before. I think Far and Away is like 92.
So because he didn't get the Italian role, he went for the Irish role. Is that what I'm getting here?
Well, no, Henry Hill is he's half Italian.
Yeah. Half Italian.
Half Irish.
Half Irish.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He was half Irish.
Yeah, so.
With no accent.
No accent. No accent. Well, realistically, Tom Cruise's accent wasn't very good either. So.
All right. So who else got a question for Mr. Scorsese here?
Marty, I would love to know, is The Departed a do-over call for not getting the Oscar for Goodfellas? Or do you think you deserved the Departed Oscar?
So, like, did he get it? Like, does he feel like they gave it to him just because?
All right, I need to look that up because I want to see what was against him for The Departed. I mean, a lot of people I think remember kind of saying it as like they're finally giving him his due.
Right.
But
was it really earned?
And Departed's a great movie. I'm not saying it's not a great movie.
I love The Departed. I think The Departed is one of the better mob movies. I thought it was great.
I don't know. I was really proud of both films.
Wow, is that how he talks?
I mean,
is that true?
He's here.
What do you mean? Is that how he talks? You just heard it come out of his mouth.
Marty, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to insult your voice.
Hey, can I get one of these great scotches? Yeah, they're great. They're great.
Shit. I just did. I'm a pretty good Google searcher, but I just really fucked this one up. I'm trying to figure out who he was against for this best director. He was against Babel. And this is weird. I didn't know that Babel was directed. It says the director's name was Babel.
That's a coincidence.
Babel by Babel? That sounds like a cologne.
That's kind of wild.
I've never heard that movie.
Letters from Iwo Jima, Clint Eastwood, The Queen, Stephen Frears, and United 93, Paul Greengrass. I'm going to say he didn't have a whole lot of competition.
It was kind of a weak.
I think that was. I remember Babel had a lot of critical acclaim.
Right.
But
I still think it was well deserved. I thought
it might be Babel. I apologize, folks, cinephiles. If you're fucking mad that I said Babel and it's Babel, fuck off.
And I'm gonna say here's a hot take too. You guys shit on Dances with Wolves. I love that movie. I thought that was a well deserved Oscar.
Have you seen it, Brad?
I have seen Dances with Wolves.
Okay, I haven't.
Yes,
I never saw it.
Oh, it's just it's a little sappy.
I
would say
I personally have seen Porky's with Scott Beck 17 times, and he's not seen Dances with Wolves.
And 14 of those times they were naked, which was weird.
In his defense, Porky's is a great fucking movie.
Oh shit, yeah.
Nothing against Porky's.
Yeah.
So I mean, this I think the whole thing is that it was finally like, hey, we don't know how many more of these movies he's going to do, so we got to make sure we award him. But that seemed like it was actually deserving.
Well, yeah,
even though it was like a makeup for some of his other times when they passed him over, but that was I think deserving for sure that year.
It definitely wasn't a reaction like freaking My Cousin Vinny got, well, Marissa Tomei got, like where everybody going like, what the hell just happened? It was definitely like, oh, okay, yeah.
He
deserves it for
sense.
that film.
It made sense.
But Marissa Tomei was great in that movie.
She was. I love her.
I love Marissa Tomei.
I think they were saying there was some pretty good competition that year. It was kind of a shocking that this young actress kind of like overcame like a bunch of legends and stuff. So all right. So my question to ask Scorsese is, he goes on to make Casino. I think Casino's 95, I think. And that movie is a 3-hour epic involving a lot of mob involvement. And which movie does he prefer? Like, I mean, it almost seems like if you're doing a mob movie and then you do like another one that's very mob adjacent, like, are you feeling like I'm going to kind of, I did well here, but now I want to do it even better? Like, how does he feel about these movies?
And good question too is, piggybacking off that, is which Pesci role is more psychotic?
They're the same role.
They're the same role.
But which is more psychotic?
Very weird.
Which is more psychotic?
Last night I was watching Goodfellas, and when Tommy gets whacked, I thought, no, they take him to the desert and bury him, right?
Nope.
And I was having a little bit of problems there. Yeah.
Which, and that's a good argument for me, is which of his death scenes is better? Like, the Casino one is the most brutal thing I think I've ever watched on screen. Like, I mean, just shooting him in the back of the head, it's like, it's kind of quick, painless.
But he also knew it was coming because as soon as he walked in that room,
and there's nobody there,
and he's like, oh no,
he gets blasted. This one he's narrating and then he gets beat up. It's so wild. And I don't know. I actually, and like I said, I saw Casino first. I have some preference towards Casino as a dramatic movie because
you're not alone.
And I think what it is that Casino has more kind of a plot. And especially the relationship, it kind of has an evolution. I mean, with him and Sharon Stone. I feel like Goodfellas, if you really try to dissect a plot, there's not much of a plot.
I will also say there's more memorable scenes in Casino.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
Yeah.
Like the card counting scene.
Yeah.
Where it takes him in the back with a ball peen hammer.
Right.
Yeah.
What was interesting is I was watching this last night, and Scorsese definitely has a style, and the whole intro with voiceover and laying down the whole scene and how this works, and that, like Casino, it's the same movie as Goodfellas.
It is really weird.
Like going through and it's like, hey, this is so-and-so, this is so, blah, 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 introducing to the characters, introducing to this. Casino, same thing, like going through the whole Casino process, which that's why I love Casino, because it's just so cool to see the inside of the casino and how everything works and the counting room and all that shit. Like, that's the kind of shit that I really liked about Casino as a movie.
But that's what he does so good is he explains kind of a thing that you don't know much about.
Right.
He's very good at explaining how things work. Like, you get the inner workings of the mob in Goodfellas, and then Casino, you get the inner workings of the casino and how that all works.
But you think about it, Gangs of New York, kind of the same thing. You're going through, talking about the different gangs. He goes through, he's doing the one camera shot, going through, seeing all the different characters and whatever. And he has a style, and it works.
Yeah, it's definitely a style he's got, and I agree with you. It works. I love it.
But you said, I mean, like you just said, P-Man, when you're talking about the death of Joe Pesci, it's like the helicopter in Goodfellas. It always, I'm like, is this where the helicopter runs out of gas and they land on his golf course? I'm like, oh no, that's Casino. That's
Casino.
Right. Which is like basically a part that happens in the end of the movie, like towards the end of the movie, and it happens also. There's a helicopter in the end of Goodfellas. So
I think he was doing a redo, and he wanted to put Don Rickles in it. So he goes, "We got to take to Vegas.
You got to go to Vegas,
and let's not go to sleep on Don Rickles in his first and maybe only dramatic role."
Oh, so good.
He was great.
So good. Just a bulldog there. Like, it's great. So Scorsese, we got other questions, I'm sure. Maddie, you said you had a question?
I do have a question. I want to know is there a Rolodex of Italian mob actors that Scorsese always pulls from, because these guys are in everything.
Yeah.
The background characters mostly.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing because in Goodfellas, Tommy is kind of responsible, you think, for the poofy haired dude, the guy that's kind of got the fro. He's the one that's in the ice
in the meat truck.
Yeah. And then in Casino, he fucking beats Joe Pesci.
And I will say what's hilarious about it too is seeing him when I watched it last night. I just instantly kept thinking of Adam Sandler's brother-in-law in The Wedding Singer.
Just about to say that.
The one with the nipple.
There's a little thing with the nipples, you know?
The thing with the nipples, yeah.
So the interesting story about that dude that I did see on like the IMDb trivia was that he sued The Simpsons because they had for Fat Tony, who was like the legendary like mafia boss in The Simpsons, one of his underlings pretty much looks like that dude. And he sued and actually got he got a payment from them because it basically kind of looks like his likeness. And he was like, hey, you guys basically drew me. And the writers live next door to him.
What?
The writers lived next door to him. So when they were trying to figure out what he looks like, I think they basically said, oh yeah, we lived next to this guy that he's in a bunch of mafia movies, so let's just draw him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's why that's why it was so easy for him to win the case. Kind of wild.
That's great.
I just thought that was so great that they have all the same actor, like typecast actors.
Yeah, these same group of guys are in every.
And
there's a quote from Michael Imperioli.
Yeah.
Spider. He says, I don't know if I would have had the same career had I not done Goodfellas. Probably not. Would I have been cast on The Sopranos? Who knows if there would have been a Sopranos? And I mean, David Chase says, he's like, yeah, basically most of the guys came over and worked for me on The Sopranos. And that's the way it goes.
Especially the beginning of the movie when Henry Hill's a teenager, most of the wise guys hanging out at the cab shop were all from The Sopranos. You got like Paulie Walnuts and even Big Puss was in there. Yeah.
I just can't believe that this is the first time that I noticed on this watch was that one of the guys, I think he was the guy that whacked Tommy, is the record guy in Wayne's World.
The record guy in Wayne's
World. Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. The guy that shows up.
The guy in the limo.
The guy in the limo.
Watch it, Tia Carrere in the limo with their.
He's one of the main, and like when he's younger with young Henry going around, he's like the main guy, the right hand guy.
Well, right, and then he's the one in. I think he's doing the sauce in prison.
He's cutting the.
No. That's Paulie. But it's the guy doing the sauce, and they always say he adds too much onion.
Yeah,
maybe. He's the one I think that kills.
No. He's the younger brother. He says keep stirring it, right? Or is that the different scene?
That's a different scene.
Yeah.
The one that actually shoots Tommy is, I'm pretty sure, the sauce guy.
Might have been the sauce guy, but he was with him. There was two guys with him, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I was like going, hey, shit, the Wayne's World, Mr. Big.
That's kind of funny. So Scott, you got a question?
Yeah, one other little thing. I saw this story, and there's the one shot after the Lufthansa heist, and they're in the bar, and they're kind of celebrating, and then that's when the guy walks.
Keeps coming in.
He's got the new car,
got the pink Cadillac,
and then
the furs,
the fur coat, whatever. So that scene, then they kind of do a one camera shot, and they going across, and then Ileana Douglas is sitting there, and she's talking about how if Tommy sees me talk to one other guy, he'll kill me. That whole.
And she's like smiling about it.
He's like, oh my gosh,
he's so jealous.
Yeah, but so that scene's going on, and it gets to her, and she says her line, and then apparently she took her drink and like just downed it, and that wasn't supposed to happen. Like it wasn't scripted that way, and Martin Scorsese saw that, and he immediately said cut, and it just kind of ruined the scene for him, and so they had to redo it again. And he told her later, he didn't tell anybody else, that cost him $20,000.
So you want to know, did he beat her ass?
Well, because he never really talked about it to anybody else, and nobody really knows why.
Would it really have ruined the scene? I think I would have let it roll.
I know.
For $20K.
For $20K.
She just talked about, like, my boyfriend might kill me. I mean, you think somebody might just take a big chug of their drink.
So, what was it that caught, like, just they had to reset and, like, whatever, like, the amount of film they had to waste or whatever?
I mean, those long shots.
Right.
I mean,
and
you're using a lot of film.
So anyway, I'd just be kind of curious to know, because nobody really knows, because she said that he only told her, and she put it in her memoir and told the whole story about it. And so, or maybe she's just full of shit.
Does she really warrant a memoir? Like, who's really reading?
She's done some stuff.
Who's really reading that memoir?
Hey, who knows? The one last thing that I thought was interesting, and I'd want to ask Scorsese about, is I didn't realize that My Blue Heaven is
classic Steve
adjacent to this movie in a sense that, one, it's a Nora Ephron movie.
Is it?
And she was married to Nicholas Pileggi, who was the writer of Goodfellas. And basically, while he was doing all the research and interviewing Henry Hill and stuff, she was hearing about this and being like, that'd be fun to make a little weird romantic comedy type thing about a mafia boss living somewhere else and going through the witness protection program. Right. I didn't know these movies were adjacent at all. And I'd be like, Scorsese, what do you think about this? This is wild. Like, so somebody basically bit off of your movie and kind of does like almost like an epilogue to the movie.
Right.
Yeah, because I have heard that is supposed to be like loosely based off Henry Hill in witness protection.
Right.
After him and his wife divorced. I did hear that.
That's him getting the egg noodles and ketchup.
And it came out.
He's a schnook.
a month before Goodfellas comes out.
Was it really?
Yes. So people call it the unofficial prequel to Goodfellas, which, I mean, if I'm Scorsese, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is wild.
I remember watching My Blue Heaven as a kid, too. And
Well, Steve Martin. Everybody watched every Steve Martin movie. Like, you got to.
Steve Martin and Rick Moranis.
Yep.
Which you're like, Rick Moranis as like an agent? It's kind of weird.
I mean, Roxanne, where he has a big ass nose. Like, everybody watched that. Like, I mean, there's all these, everything Steve Martin was in, people were going to see.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And of course, Parenthood was the best movie of that time, for sure.
I love Parenthood.
Never saw it.
That's a crazy emotion. Really?
Oh my!
Someone's getting whacked tonight for sure.
Man.
So Scott, when people say Bibishaw, you have no idea what that means.
No idea.
When you want to see Keanu Reeves like being Keanu before Keanu, it's kind of wild. He's a drag racer.
Sure. Okay. Great. Sign me up.
All right. Well, I think it's time. I know Marty, are you tired?
Hey, yeah, I'm getting kind of sleepy, guys. But thanks for having me. This is great.
Okay. I think we should probably send him to bed. And Marty, you have a safe travels home. You had like 4 Cuddy Sarks. That's all, the whole bottle we had. You drank them all. So enjoy your evening. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, guys,
okay.
thanks. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to Quad Pro Quo. Right now, you are probably thinking to yourself, oh great, another movie podcast. Well, dear listener, you would be right. But throw in a couple of marriages, decades-long friendships, and a shared property line, and you have just another movie podcast with a shitload of drama. Inspired by the iconic quid pro quo scene in Silence of the Lambs, each week, one of us will pick a movie. It could be a childhood favorite, a classic film noir, an Academy Award winner, or a complete dumpster fire that brings joy to that person's heart. The selector's objective? To get us to love, or at the very least, not hate their pick. Will our marriages, our friendships, and our neighborhood survive? Find out each Thursday on Quad Pro Quo.
This episode of Bev's Video Kingdom is brought to you by Mafia Poker Parties Are Us. Did your last poker night with your fellow mobsters end in bloodshed? Did the game break up too early because Johnny Gutshot had to leave to make a quick hit? Then you need Mafia Poker Parties Are Us. We have everything you need to keep your poker party running late into the night. Our mobile bar and kitchen is always stocked with delicious pasta with the gravy as good as Mama makes, plenty of Cuddy Sark, and a few extra bartenders in case old Petey Smiles gets one-outed and empties his revolver into one of our attentive cocktail creators. And if someone has a job that could possibly take them away from the game, whether it's whacking the local city official who won't take a bribe, or beating up the college basketball star for forgetting to fix the game, we can deliver. We've got Paulie Bad Temper and Back to Prison Bobby on our team willing to do your dirty work while you get to work stacking 50 large from the schnooks you call family. So book an evening with Mafia Poker Parties R Us because we'll never snitch and our mouths are always staying shut. So you can focus on bluffing honest Vinny out of his hard-earned blood money.
Well, that was Bad Tempered Bobby. What were the names on that?
Paulie Bad Temper and Back to Prison Bobby.
Back to Prison Bobby.
They play a lot of cards. I could never figure out what game they're playing, though. Who knows?
Is it a one-night stand or do you hit it with a shovel or take it home to mom and dad? It's like fuck, marry or kill. It's Shag Snack Body Bag.
Oh boy, it is time for Shag Snag Body Bag. We could have gone a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Scotch Beck has been lazy in his older years, and he won't do a revised version anymore. I'm wondering when the next one's going to happen.
Look, I threw it out to the people, the listeners, the lovely listeners, the people that we appreciate and love, and I have not gotten one single, hey, why don't you do this type of murder?
Oh, you're saying you want people to post on the socials that they want a new version.
Yeah, a random one, whatever.
Okay.
Something that works and that I can work into the song. But and you're right. I should have thought ahead and thought there's some stuff we could do it on this one. Do you shoot him in the head? Whatever. I don't know. There's all kinds
Do
of
you? Was it an ice pick? Was that what it was?
Oh, shiv him with an ice pick.
Shiv him with an ice pick.
That could have flowed.
Do you
Did
shake
a one
with
night
mom's
stand? Do you
now?
shiv him with an ice pick or take him home
See?
to mom and dad?
You're just not thinking very much.
Fuck, I don't think.
Do you shake it with mom?
You know,
Kitchen
and we're
knife?
approaching harvest where you're gonna be like, I can't do fucking shit.
That's a good point.
And right now it's just like,
I got nothing
I'm just
going on.
busy, hanging out with my woman and this and
It's
that.
not harvest. Farmers don't really work.
Yeah, you don't work.
Right,
You don't.
P-Man?
They just play with their nuts.
I'll take the 5th.
And the funny thing is that I'm talking to two of like the most educated farmers I've ever met. Like, I mean, we've got the Harvard of the Central Valley, and we've got
He's talking about Fresno State, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And then like the other prestigious institution over in the West Coast. I mean, the most famous person I know from a university associated with trees. I'll just say it, leave it at that.
There you go.
All right, so we are on Shag Snag Body Bag, and if you've never listened before, Shag Snag Body Bag is just your basic fuck, marry, kill. Shag would be, what is this thing that you were just super aroused about, you're fired up about. Snag would be, it's just something that you want to take home and you want to cuddle it and snuggle it. And body bag is, fuck this, get this out of my movie. So let's start with one of our guests here, shagging. What are you shagging, Mr. Marlowe?
You know what? I gotta say, shagging wise, I'm gonna shag Joe Pesci in this. I absolutely love Joe Pesci. I know he plays the same role pretty much in all of his movies, but just his attitude. The scene where he shoots Spider, I love it,
dude.
He's just a fucking prick,
unhinged. What
he's
the fuck is wrong
psychotic?
With that?
I don't think it's very like your emotions. If your emotions aren't this way, if you're just laughing about it, you're kind of a fucked up person. But if you're just like, God damn, this dude did not deserve this, and like the reactions of his family is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's the first time where you see them actually like, dude, you're psychotic more than we can even imagine.
Yeah.
Like it's like we don't know how to deal with it.
And I blame Spider in that. He gets shot in the foot.
He knows knows not to fuck with him.
He goes to the hospital or whatever. He gets bandaged up. He comes back a couple weeks later. That's on him. That's on him.
And then,
that's predictable.
And it says, and what does he say to him?
He says, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Now, this is the first time that all I did. Speaking of Joe Pesci, if you stare at him during this whole scene, because like you got De Niro going, "Oh, hey, yeah, you're gonna stand for that, blah blah blah, you're gonna take that shit." But this time, I just watched Pesci and him just sitting there stewing, and just you see his face just kind of boiling, and just like, oh my, it's pretty crazy how he does so much with so little, and you just know like, oh, this isn't gonna be good.
Yeah,
and
And so what they did say is that scene was improv. They basically, the only line that was scripted for that scene was Spider saying, "Hey Tommy, go fuck yourself."
Okay,
that's all. After that, it was all improv, and so they
even him shooting him or
no.
I was gonna say that's pretty ballsy.
Second great story from that is that he actually he broke a glass on the way down, cut his hand really bad, and he goes to the hospital, and they see bullet wound, and they're like, "Do we need to work on that?" And he's like, "No, that's a squib. Like that's not actual blood. Like I'm not actually shot. All you need to do is fuck with my hand." And then they were like, "Oh fuck, go wait out in the waiting room."
Oh, that's great.
Which is good. All right, that's a good shag. And Joe Pesci, I will say, he gets the Academy Award for this. He has one of the shortest Academy Award speeches ever. He says, "It's my privilege. Thank you." And walked away.
That's what it should be.
That's all he said.
All right. That's a award show I want to watch.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Pesci, you're getting the biggest honor of your career, and he's just like, I've got a few words for you.
I gotta go film Home Alone.
Home Alone 3. All right. Shagging. What do you got, P-Man?
I got big ass Cadillacs.
Ooh. Very nice.
I want me a
pink Cadillac.
Well, I wouldn't go pink. I'd probably go tan or gray or something nondescript. But I want a 2-door Coupe de Ville that's 3 foot longer than my King Cab F-250. That's what I want. That's all they had back then. These big, huge land barges. You could throw 3 or 4 corpses in the trunk. I love it.
Yeah. And you don't have to pull the seat. The door's just so long. You just open that shit up and you can climb right into the back seat. You can climb into the front seat. You're good to go. That is beautiful. That's a beautiful. That's a good call. I like that a lot. That's a good shag.
All right.
Scotch.
All right. I'm going to shag kitchen blowjobs.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, when I
think it's more the on the way out the door blowjob.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the I want something from you and I'm going to get it from you. Here's a blowjob. You know, it's like because she wants to go shopping. Well, how much do you need? She holds up her fingers. I want this much. A stack of cash. I'm like, all right. He peels off a little bit. Not as much as she held up with her fingers. And she goes down on him and he's like, oh, all right. And, which is just, I had never noticed that line before. And it was so great.
The look on his face, he's like, oh, all right.
Well, later with the cokehead, he's trying to leave too. And she's like, nope. We gotta fuck.
Henry is susceptible to a little bit of last minute.
Yeah.
Fellatio.
Yeah.
So say we all.
Yep.
So my shag for this movie is going to be the Layla needle drop.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
It goes into one of the most interesting scenes. I mean, these little kids, they're playing like swords and stuff out there in this little like parking area. Right. And the two kids that are walking up, and that little kid, he's an actor, and he's just like, he's got these little wide eyes and he's kind of creeping up on it. And then all of a sudden the music's coming in and it turns around and you see these folks in the pink Cadillac.
Big ass Cadillac.
Shot up to fuck. I mean, they've got
That's what you get when you buy a pink Cadillac.
7 bullet holes in each of them.
That's why I said I'll buy a 10 one.
There you go. And then it leads off to the whole body reveal. We've got the dumpster. We've got the back in the meat truck.
Yeah.
And it's basically showing if you're in the mob and somebody starts getting a little concerned that others are going to be tattling or snitching or spending too much money that's going to bring attention to you. Yeah, you know how you get rid of them? You just fucking off them all. Yeah. All dead.
Dude, yeah.
Crazy scene. And
Classic
they decided
scene.
to use they didn't use the guitar Clapton part. They decided to use the little piano outro. And it's a very like nice song.
It's beautiful.
And it's completely juxtaposed with these gruesome scenes of like dead bodies.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. So that whole little needle drop. Scorsese is the master. He's always been his own music editor as far as like determining what he's going to choose and how the edits are going to match up to the music. That's all been in his own brain.
Right.
There was a statement that he 3 years before this movie is like finished, he already had the idea where the music was going to play in each scene. So
that's awesome.
That's just the way he works.
Yeah.
So, all right, snags.
Snags. Sounds like a mobster. Hey, we got snags over here.
Snags. Hey, this is old Sammy Snags over here. All right, Scotch, what you got?
I'm going to snag the young Henry and Tommy casting.
Not bad.
Dude.
Okay.
I fucking loved it. I think they were just perfectly cast. That the young Ray Liotta, he was a really good actor, and he looks like him.
He does.
And there's times when I'm like watching Ray Liotta as an adult, going, God dang it, he looked just like that kid. That was perfect. And then what I hadn't really realized was the young Tommy. There's one time he kind of talking. He's got a little bit. He got that voice going and everything. And I just love that casting.
The biggest difference between real life and the movie is that Tommy was a large, muscular, fucking beast of a man that was intimidating. So it's very interesting that they decided to cast Joe Pesci,
who's like 4'3",
who was also he was also hella young. So he was younger than Henry and younger than Jimmy. And so that's the biggest difference here is that you've got an older man, a very older, smaller man playing a guy who should have been younger.
But in the movie, he was quite a bit younger than him. Because remember, when they were teenagers, he was still well established as like a.
I'm just saying, Joe Pesci looks hella older than Ray Liotta.
Oh,
in the movie.
Sure.
So as far as actors and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Scott, if you like that actor, I just did a little Google on him here.
Yeah, he hasn't done a bunch.
Andrew Bowser.
Right.
And looking in his filmography, the highlight of his career afterwards, he's in a movie called The Green Shit.
Oh, that was good. It was really good because I've been following him.
And so if you're an Andrew Bowser fan,
The Green Shit.
Check out The Green Shit.
All right. That sounds like a classic. Absolute
sounds
classic.
Like a bad night of Taco Bell.
All right. Snag, Matty Marlowe.
Oh, snag. I am going to go with the Ray Liotta voiceover of the movie.
I'm co-signing with you.
I say the very beginning, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a gangster.
And the voiceover does so much, and there's always the big talk that voiceover can be a crutch. It can be used as a crutch to explain plot and stuff. But this voiceover is so interesting. It carries you through all of the little ins and outs.
It adds to it.
And then when it first switches to Karen and you're like, oh shit, now she's narrating.
Yeah.
It's like it's like, oh damn. Like I thought it was always going to be him. And all of a sudden now you got other characters narrating.
Oh yeah. Cause what was it? She said like, when she was saying that she was still attracted to him, or she.
That's the whole gun scene.
When she
has the gun in his face, and then after he knocks her off the bed, she's like, any girls like would have ran, but I was attracted. Oh no,
I was still attracted.
Actually, it's also when he smashes the dude in the face with the gun.
Yeah, that's what I meant. When
yes,
the dude that like tried to like grope her or whatever.
And she's like, any of my friends would have immediately ran. She's like, but I can't lie, I was attracted to that.
I was attracted to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's also attracted to the time when he's got the gun in her face and like throws her off the bed.
Yeah.
So kind of crazy. All right, but no, I'm co-signing. That's the voiceover is just tremendously put to use, and it just helps you along in the story, and it also gives you the ins and outs, like the things you want to find out about the mob. And a lot of this voiceover came from actual interviews from Henry Hill. A lot of it was almost verbatim from actual interviews with the real Henry Hill. So that makes it even more epic.
Yeah, the one weird thing that I'd kind of forgotten about was how at the very, very end, all of a sudden, he's doing like breaking the fourth wall monologue to the camera.
The courtroom?
In the courtroom.
Yeah.
I was like, I totally forgot about that fucking out of left field.
That is a little bit odd.
So I was not a fan of it.
Yeah, because I was like watching it and I'm like, wait, is he breaking the fourth wall? Because I was waiting for the other actors to react to it, but they're all like, doing their own thing. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
I did not like that choice.
You know what's funny? If now thinking about that would have been my body bag.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it makes no sense. Like I would like, again, God damn it, we had Scorsese here earlier. We should have asked him.
Should have talked to him
about why.
Come back.
Is he hanging out outside?
He's in the can.
Oh my Lord. He's been over by the canal.
What do you want to know?
Oh my gosh. So I would have liked to ask him though and find out what was that, because it does stand out as being very different from the entire feel of the movie, and it's like he gets up and starts talking for what reasons?
Like I don't mind the very end with him looking at the camera. That's fine, whatever. But that whole like he's doing a monologue to the camera.
I feel like it's him detaching himself. It's like the official, like he's detaching himself from the mob, like because now he's snitching. He's pointed them all out, and he's like, "Fuck, I had to look out for myself." And so it's like I'm getting away from this entire scene.
Right.
I mean, maybe that's what the intention is, but whatever.
Can you imagine sitting in that fucking courtroom and literally fingering these dudes that you know can just have you destroyed?
Well, usually you're in a bathroom when you do that, right?
Well, I was talking to Brad earlier before we came over here. We're having a beer at last call, and I was going to say the same thing. I was like,
man,
like. He's totally in the wrong in this because, like, I get the Jimmy thing. He was scared Jimmy was going to come after him.
Well, he literally was going to have him hit.
Oh, for sure. But Paulie, that was just fucked up because Paulie, like, took care of him he basically was like, told him, don't do the drugs. What you did in prison, I don't care. Stay away from the drugs. He went behind his back, and then he was like, I got to turn my back on you. Right. I'm not going to kill you, but I got to turn my back on you. And then he rats him out. That's fucked up.
Well, they only gave him $3,600. Maybe if you gave him like 10 grand.
Okay. It's like he gave him anything.
Oh man! All right, P-Man, what are you snagging here?
So I got to snag Billy Bat's hair. Listener, you can't tell on the podcast, but I've got a pretty decent mop of salt and pepper. Mm-hmm. I think if I grow it out a little bit and apply just the right amount of blow dryer on there, I could definitely pull off a Billy Bat's hair
back, a little poofy,
some pommel.
And look, I do okay, but I think with Billy Bat's hair, I think I would slay. I'm just saying.
I love it.
With Billy Bat's hair.
Also, another actor from Sopranos.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I mean, if you go by the actual mafia code, Billy Batts is 100% in the right. He has absolute every right to talk shit.
Tommy wasn't made at that point, right?
No,
Not at all.
not
Yeah.
at all.
Nope.
He has
got free
every
reign.
right to talk shit to Tommy,
Yeah.
and Tommy just fucked everything up. And after you watch the movie a few times, it's always that scene. You're like, God, don't. Oh, just
let it go, dude.
Just let it go.
He should have went and got a shine box.
And I still don't know why. And I guess this is a big question. Another one for Scorsese is, why does Jimmy get involved? Why does Jimmy all of a sudden, like, Jimmy's stomping on him as like this is like his worst enemy?
Well, it's his boy.
It's his boy.
He knows he's got to have his buddies back. And
I guess.
But
I guess he's maybe like, if I don't back up Tommy's gonna fucking kill me next.
I think the weird thing is that scene, you really don't know who Billy Batts is until afterwards, right? It's like, which might be better, because just like if you really knew how high up he was, like, why would Jimmy get involved or whatever? But it's like maybe if you think they both don't know, but they do know. It's so it's kind of weird that he would jump in if he knows who it is. But I guess you got to get your boys back. But I don't know.
Another little note from the trivia is that Billy Batts was allegedly part of the like John Gotti family, and like there's allegedly John Gotti and stuff might probably had something to do with like Tommy getting killed. So
Okay.
kind of wild.
The Last Dawn.
All right, so
Gotta watch your back.
we're on to body bags, and there's quite a few body bags in this movie. I'm going to start, and my body bag is just very simple. It's, being in the mafia. I think if you watch this movie, it basically explains to you, like, there's not a whole lot of plot. They do a whole bunch of fucked up stuff. And Henry Hill, it sounds like he's an absolute piece of shit, who even once he was in witness protection, he got involved in drugs. He was still trying to do like crazy shit. And he seems like he loved the life way more than somebody who was actually like ratted on people and is like trying to think, I learned my lesson. He's just like, fuck, I still love this life.
Right.
I miss it. I'm just a schnook now. That whole thing. It's like, no. The whole mafia life is terrible. These are all terrible human beings doing terrible things.
At any moment, you can get fucking whacked.
Well, and just the way they treat everybody around them.
Right.
Like everybody, if you're not part of their little group, you're just somebody who they can abuse, extort, beat, kill. Women around them are just absolute pawns. Like, hey, come on, man. You got to start keeping up appearances. It's like they're like talking to him in his girlfriend's apartment, and he's like, come on, man, you got to keep appearances. Like, you got to go back to your wife. Got to go back to your wife.
We don't
want to stop you from having your fun, but
go back to your wife.
Go back to your wife, man. Come on.
So weird.
There's he has multiple women and not afraid to beat somebody, kill somebody. It's a crazy life. It's not the life for me. Even though, I may have murdered somebody, and Scotch has murdered a few people here.
More than a few.
We're trying to give up that life.
Right.
Anybody else who's got a body bag?
You know what? Okay, my body bag. Ray Liotta playing a 21-year-old. He looks way too old to be
I didn't
a
know he was supposed to be
21-year-old.
21, honestly.
Yeah.
That's not believable.
I'm like,
'cause-
wait, this is 5 years after when he's playing the kid. I'm like, 5 or 6 years. I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
and Karen says, she's like, oh, he's 21, but he was so powerful and this and that. It's like, oh, okay, that's a very old, mature 21-year-old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But like I said, Tommy was supposed to be even younger, and you got Joe Pesci playing him, so that's even worse.
Yeah.
Scotch, what do you got? Body bags.
I'm going to body bag Scorsese's mom looking at the fucking camera. I get it. I get it, dude. I get it. Put your mom in the movie. He puts her in all the movies. She's in Casino.
Yeah.
She's in all his movies.
Which was she?
She's the mom. She's Pesci's
Tommy's
mom.
mom.
She's
Oh, okay,
Tommy's
okay.
mom.
I didn't know that was Scorsese's mom.
And her that whole joke she told, that it was just such a horrible reading. Like the way she said it was just dumb. But when she she looks at the camera like 4 times in a row. And I get it.
He brought her to the fucking Oscars, and he got defeated. Come on.
That's
Maybe that's the reason why.
he gets.
Might have been why.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I don't like it when I love putting your family in a film, but don't give them lines.
Well, there is some question that when she says, oh, you just got here. He's like, what do you mean I've got here? I'm leaving. And like basically he might have been improvising that because she
said the wrong line or something.
Said the wrong line, and he just went with it and it was like, "What do you mean I'm here? I'm leaving." And so things like that. But it also sounds kind of realistic of a guy talking to his like 60-year-old, 70-year-old mom
in the middle of the night. She's all confused.
Middle of the night, yeah. So it kind of works, and I think the conversation's cute.
Yeah,
she cooks them some food.
Man.
She shows off her paintings. It's good times.
Be a pro. Don't look at the fucking camera.
All right, P-Man.
Get your fucking shot.
You got the last body bag. It's just waiting to be zipped up.
I got 2 if I can. Will you allow me?
You know what? This movie has so many body bags. We've got extras laying around. Drop a couple in here.
I'm going to start with Lorraine Bracco's overacting in general.
Ooh.
But especially in the scene where she's explaining to Henry how she had to flush the Coke. And I'm sorry. They would have found it, I swear. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know if Scorsese told her, "Hey, just chew the hell out of this scene" or not.
Go
but
for it.
She went for it on that. I believe she was on Coke in real life, not in the movie. In that scene,
She probably was.
That was overacting.
It was 1990, so I believe
she got a nomination for that.
She got a nomination. Yeah.
One of my favorite things I saw about Scorsese is somebody talking about this movie and all the music hits and all this and stuff, especially the scene where at the end where he's on Coke and he's going around, all the different music flashes. There's a Spike Lee was talking about, he's like, this is one of those things where the director has used Coke before and is taking you on a journey of what it feels like to be on Coke. He's like, I've never done Coke before, but this basically summed it up on what it would feel like to be cruising around on Coke.
Wow.
And he's like, it's because the director did a lot of Coke.
I'm picturing Scorsese on Coke right now. And
that's
fun.
He told stories to some of the folks.
for it.
He told stories to some of the folks of like his nose bleeding and stuff, like from doing so much Coke.
Wow.
Like, so he had his issues.
It's like Fleetwood Mac level.
Oh yeah. That's
well, along
80s.
those lines of the Coke, my second body bag is Henry's drug dealing skills in general. Okay, number 1. His Gumar is like the headquarters of like his like drug dealing, okay? You don't have your mistress be in charge of your drug business. That's rule number 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 2, he uses his babysitter as a mule. I feel like that's, no, don't do that.
Yeah, she needs a lucky hat to fly too.
Yeah, exactly. Without the lucky hat and without her making the phone call from the house, he would have been scot-free.
Right.
Exactly, Scott.
BVK did the most memorable stoner draft. I'm kind of sad that she didn't get picked because she
should be in there.
Is a chill motherfucker who's just like, fuck it, I gotta get my lucky hat.
Yeah,
I don't fly with him.
I don't fly with a lucky hat.
I feel like she's just so like, she has that look in her eyes constantly like, I'm just fucking stoned and just living the life. She doesn't give a fuck.
And then the last rule that he broke, and I feel like it's the number 1 rule of being a drug dealer: don't get high on your own supply. He breaks that rule.
Oh yeah.
And his workers are getting even higher on the supply.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks so fucked up. Like,
it's amazing like how just uncomfortable it is to look at him because he's just like he goes into the hospital to pick up his brother and the doctor's like, dude,
like,
seriously, I gotta take a look at this.
Until she sees a Valium
and then gives him a Valium. It's like, what? Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. No, this is some good Shaq Snack body bag.
Hell yeah.
Very good calls here. We're gonna move on to our next category. Let's go.
Crackle, Pluto, HBO, find anime on Crunchyroll, Peacock, Hulu, Disney, Netflix, Tubi, Sling TV, Shudder, Fubo. What the fuck is Fubo? I'm sure it'll cause a sensation. It's a streaming recommendation.
All right, folks, we just watched Goodfellas, so we now have to give you some associated or maybe not really associated movies that remind us of Goodfellas. I'm going to start us off here. Sometimes I see interesting streaming services that I have not seen before. I'm going ahead and recommending Ocean's 11, Steve Soderbergh movie. The reason I picked this is because, I like seeing the intricacies of an operation. This is a criminal operation. They are robbing the casinos in Vegas. And I'm talking about, of course, the modern version with George Clooney and Brad Pitt. And it's on TNT, TBS, and True TV. I guess they must have their own little app now or premium service. I'm hoping you get it without commercials because it said streaming. So I don't know if it offers commercials or not, but that's where you can watch it is on the TNT, TBS, or True TV app. I think they're all under the same ownership.
Okay.
Ocean's 11 is a great movie. No voiceover, but at the same time, they do bring you into the ends of what they're doing and their whole heist. Kind of the same as Goodfellas, where you get to see the intricacies of the whole mob, what they're doing. So that's my choice.
Dig it.
Who's next?
I'll go. I'm a huge Joe Pesci fan. So I'm going to say Home Alone. No, I'm kidding.
Eight heads enough about
No, I will actually say, we talked a little bit about it. My Cousin Vinny. I love that movie. Marissa Tomei is gorgeous in that movie.
Yeah.
What you won it for Best Supporting Actress.
Yep.
I think you can watch that on Tubi for free. I just saw. So that's the one I love. It's got Daniel LaRusso in it. You know, the Karate Kid.
It's one of my all-time. I just fucking love that movie.
It's just
Every
a
time
good
it's
movie
on,
to watch.
It's just, it's
it's
fun.
a remote dropper.
I totally agree if I've seen it before.
You have
my
not seen that movie.
Two Utes.
There's been a fucking lot of that tonight, and it's weird.
It is. It's crazy weird.
I love Scotch. There's been a lot of this tonight. mostly me, but now it's you two.
Yeah, it's the two BBK fucking guys on here. I've never seen that.
That settles it. I'm picking that for a movie we're gonna do.
That would be fun.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I would like to watch it. I will watch it if you tell me to watch it.
Even the actor that played Herman Munster. He plays the judge. And it's great.
He's really, really good in it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I will watch it if you tell me to watch it for the pod.
Right. Exactly.
P-Man, what do you got here, man? What's your streaming recommendation?
I'm going to go with Miller's Crossing.
Nice.
It's actually a Coen brother movie. Ethan directed it, but both of them did the screenplay. And great movie. If you like the Coen brothers, you're going to like it. If you like gangster movies, you're going to like it, and can't go wrong.
It's always weird with those guys now because it's like sometimes it is one of them or it's both of them, and it's like trying to figure out, wait, is this both? Is this one? What do we got going here?
Dig it.
All right. Scotch.
So I'm going to do something a little bit different in a way because this is an independent movie, and it's kind of inspired by our draft that we're going to be doing next week, which it was interesting because as I was researching the draft, this movie popped up on this list, and I was so stoked because I actually know a good friend of mine was in this movie.
And just a preview, we are doing most memorable body disposal.
Correct. So my good friend Patrick Day, he's done a lot of really cool. He was in Ernest Goes to Camp way back in the day. He's just one of those working actors.
Lots of classics of cinema.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, good friend of mine. He's the Macho Nacho to my mouth trumpet with the children's album that I did a long time ago. Anyway, he's in this movie. It's called Favor, and it's an independent film. And it got a bunch of great awards at some independent film festivals. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's literally like their tagline is, "A friend helps you move. A good friend helps you move a body." And the whole movie
body disposal.
That's what the whole movie's about, is getting rid of a body. And so definitely something I'm probably not going to draft next week because nobody knows anything about this movie. But I watched it. My friend Patrick is so fucking good in this, and I'd love people to watch it because it's skewed because he's my friend, but he's really fucking good. He's the guy with the beard in the movie. He's one of the main stars, and check it out. It's on Amazon Prime.
All right. Let's move on. We've got some stream recommendations for you. Let's move on to our next category. Here we go.
No jet wash for Maverick, Meg still on that goose stick. Iceberg list Titanic, Leo's drawing that nude shit. Jim fucks Nadia like we all thought he should. Ricky and Doughboy get the fuck out the hood. Luke hooks up with Leia just like he's intending. It's time for a reshelf and alternate endings.
I really hope people listen to this and have a decent stereo system in their car because
I appreciate that bass.
Because I was fucking listening to our last episode, and I've got a pretty decent little Bose system in my truck, and it fucking
hits.
It hits.
It does. It hits. I would love, dude. I mean, my dream in life is to like pull up at some intersection and some guy rolls up with his windows down and that part's playing. Just, boom. And I'm feeling it. I'm like, oh shit, I feel that. And I was like, oh shit, that's our theme song.
Yeah.
That would be badass.
Yeah.
That's like a life dream there. We are on the reshelf alternate endings, so we can either take this movie and apply it to a different type of genre, or we can just give it an alternate ending. That's what we do here. I mean, if you're thinking of some lyrics of that little alternate endings bumper that we had, I mean, we're thinking like the boys don't kill Billy Bats. Like, how do their lives change if they don't kill Billy Bats? Right. I mean, one of them or more of them is going to get killed eventually.
Right.
But does Billy Bat's situation, does that change the whole outcome for the mob?
Well, definitely, Pesci probably doesn't get whacked. And
probably gets made.
Yeah, he gets made, and they'll all live happily ever after. Probably
Maybe
not.
Well, I don't know if they live happily ever after, but
I don't know. Henry getting a Coke. Anytime you start involving the whole the cocaine, that becomes cocaina. There's a cocaina. Once that gets involved, it's usually bad.
It's kind of weird because like this is based off a true story, you know, and you know, we want to change the ending to it, but I tell you what, I kind of wanted to see Henry get whacked because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
he's a womanizer. He cheats on her fucking the whole movie. He's got bitches all over the place. He's on drugs and shit, and Karen doesn't deserve him. And so I would have liked to see him.
And we don't really ever see, like, is he a loving father? Does he care about his kids? He's got kids. They don't really show him doing much for his kids ever.
Yeah.
Except for just berating his wife while she's trying to like drop off food to him in prison.
His only real value is how he says Karen and Karen.
That is good. And I was thinking those same lines. It's tough to think of like an alternate ending when you got like kind of a factual semi real life movie.
Right.
What I thought about was I want to see. You know, they have that very kind of very tension-driven scene where Karen is talking to Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got some of these nice dresses. You go down, just right down there, a little further.
Yeah.
If he actually whacks Karen at that point, if she gets killed, how does he react in this situation? Does he just bounce, like be like, "Fuck, they killed her. I might as well just
or does
grab
he
my
turn
kids
into
and
fucking
leave?"
Liam Neeson and fucking take him?
Or that's what I just say. Does he want to go full on revenge style, where he's just like, I'm killing everybody? Like, it would have been interesting to see his character in that moment where when we say the love of his life, no. It's not the love of his life. He treats her like shit. But
I would say in his own demented, sick mind, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does he react? Does he be like, this is my get the fuck out of Dodge, like I need to bounce and escape? Or is this like, oh, good, I don't have to worry about that anymore? And or does he realize, okay, the end is near for me, so I need to now either revenge or bounce?
Well, you totally took my my rewriting of the ending there.
Okay.
Because I was going to say, when she walks in there, I want to know what happens if she walks down that little alleyway.
And was it even the guys? Because she kind of sees those guys and they kind of like go, like they kind of stop talking.
I think she was supposed to go in there and I think they were going to whack.
Those the guys that were going to do it? Okay.
Yeah, and I think that if she gets whacked, then, you know, Ray Liotta just straight up goes John Wick on him. And just goes after
Bloodbath
Jimmy.
revenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Which would have been a fun, because so the one thing about we didn't really talk about this. I meant to bring this up. Honestly, the last part of the movie, like the last 30 minutes of the movie, I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready.
You're ready for
the coke scene?
Yeah, like once he gets into the coke, I was kind of done. And so maybe a little bit of fucking, you know, John Wick at the end, you know, maybe might have been fun.
Maybe they turn to vampires at the end.
I mean, R.I.P. Nate, but like, you know, I'm trying to think who would be the correct vampire in this situation. I mean, is it Paulie? Is he the head vampire?
Well, I was gonna say maybe Tommy comes back. They tried to whack him, but he actually wasn't really dead, and he shows up at the end.
I'd say Jimmy.
So I don't know.
Jimmy's kind of
I think Jimmy's the head vampire.
Okay.
You know what's interesting?
And that would be, of course, Goodfellas After Dark.
Right.
Yep.
After dark.
After dark. Till dawn.
Till dawn.
Till dawn. Goodfellas till dawn.
Goodfellas After Dark. There's a whole different situation.
That's a Skinamax movie.
Oh, Goodfellas After Dark.
I might have seen that movie once or twice.
Oh boy.
De Niro wasn't in this movie as much as I remember him being in this movie. He really wasn't in it all that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like, but
Okay.
it's probably because he's a vampire.
P-Man, you got anything for us? Alternates, reshelves? What you thinking?
I'm a Michael Imperioli fan from both from Sopranos and his short stint on Law and Order. Dong dong. Dong dong. And so what happens
Turn that
if
up in your
Spider,
face.
instead of saying, go fuck yourself, Tommy, if he just gets him as 7 and 7, does he work his way up through the ranks and eventually is the big boss? I mean, this is a long view.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's Spider's story if he doesn't get plugged there at the poker game?
Yeah.
That's true. Interesting.
I like that. Yep. Maybe he's the vampire.
Ooh. Yeah, he comes back. Yeah, he could fuck a lot of shit up if he was the vampire because he's got some revenge on his mind. Again, I still question what they were playing. It seems like poker. They were always holding cards and there was money in the table, but it looked very chaotic and like you couldn't really tell exactly what they're doing here. Maybe they're playing, I don't know, spades, something. I don't know. But I was confused. What are they actually playing? I want to find out.
Looked like poker to me.
I mean,
Yeah, I thought it was poker.
they're just playing stud. Are they playing like hold
I
on?
didn't
Like
look
what do we
too
got going here?
I didn't look too much into it, I guess.
What is gangster poker?
It's probably AC Doocy.
It's juicy.
The most gangster of all games.
Looked like Go Fish to me.
Go fish. All right, well, folks, that's it. I think we've got our alternate endings. We've talked, and we haven't done this in a while, but movie ending songs. But you know, at Scorsese, he's kind of a legend when it comes to those music drops. So we're gonna just let him be. We're not gonna try to fuck with that at all. All right, next week, I'm sitting here looking at the two individuals that are our guests, and I think we're gonna let them come back next week in draft. We're going to see if they can step up to the game. And it's a little nerve-wracking because there's going to be 2 BVK members drafting.
And 2 rookies.
And 2 rooks showing up to show off their skills. So let's see what happens.
And what are we drafting?
We're going to draft
earlier.
the most memorable body disposal. And understand, we didn't say dead body. We didn't say human body.
Nope.
We didn't say any of that. So we're going to find out. We're going to do some studying. Study up, folks out there. Think about what are your picks. Most memorable body disposal scenes in movies. And we're going to talk about that next week with a full-on draft. We're going to have a classic judge showing up that has done some great performances before. Let's see what he brings to the table next week. Folks, hit us up on the socials. Leave some reviews. Thank you again to our guests, Matty Marlowe, The Real Drunk Podcast. That is available everywhere you can listen to pods, on Spotify, Apple Pods, anywhere you want to listen to it, it is available. They just recently did the episode, So I Married an Axe Murderer.
It's a great episode.
Movie.
It's a great episode. Great
Check
movie.
it out. And they've got a guest who's actually been on the BVK pod,
Yeah,
Liza, who helped us
Yep.
brew the second edition of the BVK IPA. Liza is a guest on that pod. It should be great.
Oh, it's great. It's hilarious. We had a great time doing it. Check it out.
P-Man, thanks so much for hanging out with us, buddy.
It's been
Good
a
to have you.
blast.
Yeah, and we'll
looking forward to the draft.
yeah,
It'll be fun.
Yep, we'll see you
It's
next
going to be
time.
weird. You're going to get to listen to an episode where you're like, oh my gosh, I lived that. And it is weird because like it's kind of, they're going to come out like a week and 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get to feel that whole feeling of like, oh, do I remember that? It's actually kind of fun. Even when I edit this shit, I still love listening to it because it's like, oh my God, I don't remember us talking about that. Yeah. Oh wow. I was an asshole in that
I said
pod.
dick a lot.
Yeah. All right, folks, take care. We'll see you next week. Scotch.
Bye-bye.
I wanna be at Beverly's, bringing me home with my movies. Just a blind by, no reason why. I love this scene. It's Scott, Zach, and Brad, your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing.